and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Miha Bharadwaj-Otter and this is Game On. This is where you get all the big stories from the world of sports. So we've got to begin with the Boxing Day Test match because there was, after all, so much drama on day one. India fought back with 4 late wickets to leave Australia on 311 for 6 on day one of the Boxing Day Test. This after team debutant Sam Konstas. He lit up the MCG with a thrilling knock in the morning. On one side, there was a 19-year-old who stood in front of over 80,000 people for the first time ever and looked as comfortable as he would sitting in his drawing room. On the other was one of the best bowlers in the world who showed why he's so special when he deceived India's nemesis Travis Head and dismissed him for a duck. Day one of the Boxing Day Test had all the drama we'd been waiting for, and we've not even spoken about the Virat Kohli Sam Konstas altercation. Here's how the day unfolded. Australia won the toss and chose to bat first, which turned out to be the right decision for the hosts as their openers got the first session off to a comfortable start. Khawaja ended a lean run with the bat with his first half century in 12 innings, scoring 57 before pulling Jasprit Bumrah straight to KL Rahul at mid-wicket. While Khawaja fought the battle of attrition, on the other end was the 19-year-old debutant opener Konstas, who had a bumper crowd in the palm of his hand in the morning as he smashed Bumrah around the park and got under the visitor's skin. He shrugged off a shoulder bump from an irked Virat Kohli at the end of the 10th over, hit Jasprit Bumrah for 18 in the 11th over. Trapped LBW by Ravindra Jadeja after the second drinks break, Konstas trudged off with huge cheers and the third quickest half century, which was 50 or 52 balls, by an Australian Test debutant behind Adam Gilchrist and Ashton Agar. It was left to Jasprit Bumrah then to keep India in the fight. The pace spearhead dismissed danger man Travis Head for a duck with the aging ball. And then he got all-rounder Mitchell Marsh to nick behind for just 4 runs. Seamer Akashdeep later chipped in with the wicket of Alex Carey for 31, breaking a rapid 53-run partnership with Steve Smith. Steve Smith was 68 not out with tail-ender Cummins on 8. Having sailed past 150 for the loss of 1 wicket, Australia went only narrowly ahead of the game by stumps. With the 5-test series level at 1-all after the Gabba test was drawn, India dropped number 3 Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma, the skipper. He promoted himself at the top of the order. All-rounder Washington Sundar was added as the second spin option rather than including another fast bowler. Now, the rivalry between India and Australia intensified on the opening morning of the 4th test at the MCG as a shoulder collision between Virat Kohli and Australia's 19-year-old debutant Sam Konstas sparked a verbal altercation. After Australia won the toss, they chose to bat. They were comfortably placed at 112 for 1 by lunch, with Konstas impressing with a fearless 60 off 65 balls. As Konstas continued to take the game to India's bowlers, the on-field proceedings took an unexpected turn when Kohli walked past him at the end of the 10th over, and the two collided shoulder to shoulder. Here's what happened. After the end of the 10th over, when players were changing ends, Virat Kohli picked up the cricket ball and appeared to walk directly to Konstas, who was heading towards batting partner Usman Khawaja, and he collided shoulder to shoulder, like I said, almost like a shoulder bump as he walked past Konstas. Konstas and former India captain exchanged words after the collision, and then Kohli started walking back towards Konstas. Australian batter Usman Khawaja, he hurried to stand between the pair, patting Konstas on the arm and then putting a friendly arm around the shoulder of Kohli in a bid to calm the situation. Replays that emerged later in the session showed that Konstas had walked round from the crease after the last ball of the 10th over. He was walking straight towards the other end, whereas Virat Kohli was tossing the ball in his hand, went from way outside the pitch straight towards Konstas and bumped into him. Former umpire Simon Toffel, he spoke to Channel 7 about the incident, and he said Kohli charging his part could qualify as an inappropriate physical contact under the ICC's Code of Conduct. And in fact, Virat Kohli was sanctioned for the incident. Virat Kohli was fined 20% of his match fee and awarded 1 demerit point for breaching level 1 of the ICC Code of Conduct. Now, Article 2.12 of the ICC Code of Conduct relates to inappropriate physical contact with a player, player support personnel, umpire, match referee or any other person including a spectator during an international match. No formal hearing was needed as Kohli accepted the sanctions proposed by match referee Andy Pycroft. On-field umpires Joel Wilson and Michael Goff, third umpire Sharfadullah Ibn Shahid and fourth umpire Sean Craig levelled the charge. After this incident, many former players predicted that Kohli may face suspension, but that has not happened as he's been levelled with or charged with a level 1 offence. Level 2 offences carry a penalty of 3 to 4 demerit points. 4 demerit points would lead to a suspension of 1 test. Ex-cricketers Ricky Ponting and Michael Vaughan, they had demanded an ICC sanction for Kohli over the incident. Ponting suggested that the umpires and match referee are bound to look at this incident and will act against Kohli's attempt to instigate this aggression. Ponting said on Channel 7, Virat walked one whole pitch over to his right and instigated that confrontation. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. I have no doubt that the umpires and the referee will have a good look at that. Fielders should be nowhere near the batsman at that stage. Every fieldsman on the ground knows where the batsman will congregate and get together. This is Ricky Ponting. Now, former England captain Michael Vaughan, he echoed Ponting's sentiments, saying the match referee is expected to seriously look into the matter and act against Kohli. He said Konstas was going his way. Look at Virat. He has changed direction. Virat is an all-time great. He is vastly experienced. He would look back and say, why did I do this? So what does the rule book say on this incident? It comes under, like I just mentioned briefly, comes under Law 2.12, which is inappropriate physical contact with a player, player support personnel, umpire, match referee or any other person, including a spectator during an international match. What does it say? Precisely this is what it says. Any form of inappropriate physical contact is prohibited in cricket. Without limitation, players will breach this regulation if they deliberately, recklessly and/or negligently walk or run into or shoulder another player or umpire. When assessing the seriousness of the breach, the following factors without limitation shall be taken into account. Number 1, the context of the particular situation, including without limitation whether the contact was deliberate, that is intentional, reckless, negligent and or avoidable. Number 2, the force of the contact. Number 3, any resulting injury to the person with whom that contact was made. And number 4, the person with whom the contact was made, level 1 is available only in case of contact with players and players support. Now, it came down to the interpretation of the match referee Andy Pycroft, who's a former Zimbabwean player. Pycroft deemed that this Konstas-Kohli contact to be a level 1 offence against Kohli, and he has received that 1 demerit point. Now, when Konstas was asked about the incident at the lunch break, the teenager opened up about the clash with his childhood hero. He was asked by Trent Copeland, and Trent Copeland put this question to Konstas. He said, Virat Kohli is your favourite player in the world, and all of a sudden, you're in the thick of battle out there. He throws a little shoulder. What was being said out there? Konstas played it down. He said, Virat Kohli accidentally bumped into me. That's cricket and can happen with tension. I think the emotions got to both of us. I didn't quite realize I was doing my gloves and then a little shoulder charge, but it happens. It's cricket. Now, the entire incident did not sit well with one half of the originators of this Border Gavaskar trophy, as Gavaskar called it uncalled for and seemed pretty confident that punishment would be dished out at the end of the day's play. He said, really, this can be avoidable. I mean, it's like you're walking in a busy pedestrian street and you see somebody coming at you, you just sway away. There's nothing It doesn't make you smaller if you move away. That's the thing, and you don't want to see these things on the field. Definitely not. This is what Sunil Gavaskar said during the lunch break. So there's been actually a lot of conversation around it. There are, of course, Indian fans who are saying that Ricky Ponting is the last person who should be talking about the spirit of the game, given how he has behaved in the past with the Indian players when they toured Australia. Whereas there are others who say Virat Kohli, he has a legacy, he's an ambassador of the game, and he shouldn't be doing this to a 19-year-old who was batting beautifully on his debut. Now, talking about this 19-year-old, cricket coaching manuals probably don't recommend scooping Jasprit Bumrah 11 deliveries into your test career, but Australia's 19-year-old debutant Sam Konstas was working from his own playbook in the Boxing Day test on Thursday. His first effort missed the ball, as did his second a couple of overs later, triggering laughter from India's players in front of a huge crowd. Unbowed, Konstas' persistence paid off as he shuffled across the crease and flicked Bumrah over the wicketkeeper's head for a 4 on the third attempt. He then pulled off a reverse scoop that cleared the rope for a 6 on the next ball, wiping the smiles off the visitors' faces. Another reverse scoop 3 balls later went for 4 in the same over, sending home fans into a frenzy. Few batters are able to make India's pace spearhead look silly and hold on to their wickets for long, but Konstas kept bashing away at Bumrah in 65 ball 60. He eventually fell LBW to the spin of all-rounder Ravindra Jadeja before lunch. Now, Konstas reverse scooped Jasprit Bumrah twice to the boundary and lap scooped him once. He had no fear of what might have been said had he got out to this shot. That this is what he said when he was asked about taking on Bumrah and playing some of those shots. He said, "I think it probably will look silly if I did get out, but I worked pretty hard on that shot and I feel like it's probably a safe shot for me, really. But I think that's the beauty about being young and maybe a bit naive. I'm just trying to put pressure back on the bowler in the best way I think is. And it was good to get a few runs today." Usman Khawaja and Marnus Labuschagne had taken Australia to 237 for 2 when Washington Sundar had the latter caught by Virat Kohli. That gave Indian fans a little to cheer about as Bumrah and company then battled back with some late strikes. Listen into some of the fans after day one.
Atmosphere was amazing, experience was amazing. Toss जीत के बैटिंग करते तो और मजा आता, बट जो लास्ट थर्ड सेशन था उसके कारण बहुत अच्छा लगा. बुमराह का जो टीवी पे देखते हैं और जो लाइव देखते हैं बहुत बहुत डिफरेंस है. बहुत मजा आया, अमेजिंग.
पहले से लग रहा था कि सैम कॉन्स्टस जो डेब्यू प्लेयर था वो बहुत ही अच्छा खेल गया था, तो तभी ऐसा लग रहा था कि मोड़ पूरा ऑस्ट्रेलिया लेके जा रही है. पर बाद में जो हमारे जैसी भाई है बुमराह जी, तो उन लोग ने फटाफट अपनी विकेट शुरू की निकालना और तभी मोमेंटम मिल गया इंडिया को.
That Jassi bhai is the best. That Jassi bhai is the best. And we all love Jassi bhai.
And it was a bucket list item. तो अच्छा लगा. First 2 sessions were not going our way, but thankfully last session में जो 4 wickets मिले हैं, that has turned the table.
Third session में तो कमाल कर दिया सर कि 4 विकेटें गिरे और ट्रेविस हेड को डकआउट कर दिए. और जो सैम कॉन्स्टस ने मारा 60 रन, हम मान सकते हैं ट्रेविस हेड का डकआउट से वो नलिफाई हो गया.
Australia was dominating the first half, but then the way India came back towards the end, it was really great for us. That was like the icing on the cake for us at least. But the overall experience, just amazing.
Finally, we hit the off stump of Travis Head, which we have been missing for last 1 year. You know, Mohammad Shami, that one was for you. You missed his off stump 2-3 times on November 19, 2023. Bumrah did it today.
Always want to see India win, but at the end of the day one was amazing. We enjoyed the atmosphere was crazy. We loved it. I am not a very huge cricket buff, but I am here for the whole atmosphere of MCG, and it was truly worth the entire trip from India to here.
On to football now, and Liverpool midfielder Curtis Jones could make his 100th Premier League appearance on Boxing Day in the match against Leicester City later tonight. Jones can reach a personal landmark for the Reds, having graduated and risen through the academy ranks at the club. Teammate Dominic Szoboszlai, meanwhile, is one appearance away from reaching 50 in the league for Liverpool. The Reds have won 15 of their last 22 top-flight clashes between the clubs, with 3 draws and 4 victories for the Foxes. Liverpool have won 11 Premier League meetings at Anfield with 3 draws and 3 defeats, while overall they won 19 of their 34 encounters. Liverpool are again expected to be without injured defenders Ibrahimina Konate and Connor Bradley, while Diogo Jota could make his first start since recovering from a rib issue. Curtis Jones may also be recalled if head coach Arne Slot opts to rotate the squad. Leicester boss Ruud van Nistelrooy, he said that captain Jamie Vardy, he will be assessed as he's picked up some knocks during the defeat against Wolves. First choice keeper Mads Hermansen is again doubtful, so Van Nistelrooy may have to choose between Danny Ward, who was booed by his own fans last weekend, and Jakub Stolarczyk, who is back in contention. Liverpool are unbeaten in 12 Premier League home games against Leicester since losing 3 in a row between 1997 and 2000. The Foxes have won 2 of their past 12 top-flight matches versus the Reds, drawing 1 and losing 9. This is the 21st time Liverpool have been top of the English top flight on Christmas Day more than any other side. They've gone on to win the league on 11 of the previous 20 occasions. Sitting in the bottom half of the Premier League at Christmas for the first time ever, Manchester United are 13th, though they remain just 6 points off 5th place, and Amorim wants to close the gap as they take on Wolverhampton later today. Ruben Amorim says his only focus during the festive period is to get Manchester United back to winning ways as they face Wolves at Molineux. Amorim has endured a mixed start to life in the Premier League, and that has seen his side lose their last 2 matches, a 4-3 loss to Tottenham in the EFL Cup and a 3-0 drubbing against Bournemouth in the top flight. Sitting in the bottom half of the Premier League, of course, United are just 6 points off that 5th place, and Amorim wants to close that gap on Thursday. The team prepared for the Boxing Day game against Wolves, and Amorim said, and I quote, "I just want to win. I don't care about Christmas. I'm just focused on what we need to do, which is we need to win the next match. That's the only thing. It's very good for the fans. We're that. And we're privileged, so we can play on Boxing Day to give some happiness to the fans, and we want so bad to win another game." Meanwhile, Vitor Pereira, he earned his first match in charge of Wolves last time out, brushing Leicester City aside 3-0 to move within 2 points of safety. It was a win that also snapped a 4-game losing streak, and Pereira is determined to see even more improvement when they play United. Pereira has promised an improved display. He said, "We will improve. We'll be better than Sunday. The result was fantastic. I'm happy inside, but I believe that we can do it in a better way." The match starts at later, 11:30 India time. That's tonight. And of course, that's a big match for Manchester United. Manchester City's dismal run of form with 1 win in 8 Premier League games is down to the whole team and not one player. This is what Pep Guardiola has said, with struggling striker Erling Haaland not to be blamed for this. City's current streak, which last week left the champions 7th in the standings and 12 points off leaders Liverpool, coincides with Haaland scoring just twice after the Norwegian had scored 10 goals in their opening 5 games. However, Guardiola has defended City's most prolific striker, Haaland.
When it's about us, it's about not just one player. So when in the past we score goals and Evan was so prolific in helping us, it's because of the team. And when you have problems at back, in the middle, and the other, it's for everyone. It's a team. It's not about one player. It would be easy. For just one player, the reason why, it would be easy. It's not about that. So Erling is so important for us, will be so important for us, have been. try to do the things better, to use him better. So all the tendency, because we don't run, because we don't fight, the reason why is this one, this situation, or this player, or this manager, or this. It's not about that. It's many little details or big details that make all together not as good as we were. But we have another opportunity in the Boxing Day to try and win time for the players come back, and in certain time will be better. Well, Sean Dyche always have a really good defensive structure, really good patterns, defensive, offensively, and when they are able to do it against Arsenal and Chelsea, that means they are really good, because after they have good transitions and of course set pieces, long balls, they are really, really strong.
Guardiola also confessed that Manchester City are at the risk of missing out on next season's Champions League due to their recent dip in form. City, who are looking to qualify for Europe's top club competition for a 15th straight season, have won just one of their last 8 Premier League games. They are 7th, like I said, 12 points behind leaders Liverpool. And the climb seems way too steep for Guardiola. His side is 4 points behind Nottingham Forest, who occupy the 4th and the final Champions League qualification berth. All right, with that, time for us to wrap this show up. Hope you enjoyed this edition. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.